Have you ever spoken to your cat and felt like they actually understood you? The way they tilt their head, blink slowly, or even let out a soft meow right after you finish your sentence? It feels like a real conversation. But here's the thing, it might not just feel that way. Science is beginning to show that cats not only recognize your voice, but they can interpret tone, rhythm, and emotion in ways that might surprise you. So yes, your cat does understand you, just not in the way you might think. Let's start with something simple. When you say your cat's name, they know it. Studies out of the University of Tokyo have shown that cats can differentiate their name from other words. Even when spoken by strangers, they might not always respond because cats, unlike dogs, don't have a built-in desire to please, but they hear you. They process what you're saying. And depending on how you say it, they decide whether it's worth reacting to. In other words, they're not ignoring you, they're evaluating you. So how do you talk to your cat in a way that actually gets through? It begins with tone. Cats are deeply sensitive to the emotional content of your voice. If you speak in a high, soft tone, similar to the way you talk to a baby, cats tend to associate that with comfort, safety, and attention. Try this the next time your cat is lounging nearby. Call their name in a gentle, sing-song way. Watch their ears twitch, their tail flick slightly, their eyes meet yours. That's not a coincidence, that's the connection. But here's where it gets fascinating. Cats also use silence as communication. Unlike dogs, who rely on sound and movement to express themselves, cats often speak through stillness. The way they hold your gaze or turn away mid-conversation tells you more than 1,000 meows. If you talk to your cat and they blink slowly, that's the feline equivalent of a smile. It's their way of saying, "I trust you." Try returning that gesture, a slow blink, no words, and see how your cat reacts. It's one of the purest nonverbal exchanges between two species. Beyond tone and eye contact, rhythm matters too. Cats are sensitive to the cadence of your voice. When you speak calmly, evenly, and with gentle inflection, it mirrors the rhythm of feline comfort, the same kind of sound a mother cat makes when purring to her kittens. But when your voice becomes sharp, hurried, or loud, it triggers an instinctive caution. Even if you're not angry, your cat might interpret your tone as a sign of conflict or danger. So, learning to speak cat isn't just about what you say, it's about how you sound saying it. Interestingly, cats may also associate certain words or phrases with specific actions or emotions, not necessarily through understanding language like humans, but through pattern recognition. For example, if every time you say treat, your cat hears a rustling bag afterward, they learn that sound combination means reward. If you say no in a firm, consistent tone whenever they jump on the counter, over time, they associate that tone and word with a boundary. In essence, you're creating a personal language. Your voice becomes their map of what's safe, what's rewarding, and what's not. But what about body language? It turns out that cats pay as much attention to your gestures as your words, the way you move your hands, how you approach them, even the direction your feet are facing, all of it sends signals. Approaching a cat directly, facing them head-on, can be perceived as a challenge. Instead, approach slightly from the side, crouch to their level, and extend your hands slowly with relaxed fingers. Combine that with a soft, familiar tone, and you'll see the difference almost instantly. They'll approach with confidence instead of hesitation. Now let's talk about timing. Cats are creatures of rhythm and routine. The way you speak to them during feeding, play, or quiet moments helps them build trust. Talking to your cat at consistent times, say before meals or during grooming, creates association. It becomes part of their expected world, reinforcing your bond. They begin to anticipate your voice, your tone, your timing, and that's when communication deepens. Your cat starts to not just hear you, but listen. Here's something many people miss. Cats use different meows for different messages. A short, high-pitched meow might be a greeting. A long, drawn-out one could mean impatience, rapid meowing, excitement, or sometimes protest. The key is to listen as much as you talk. Cats mirror the energy you bring. If you're calm, they'll respond calmly. If you're stressed, they pick up on it instantly. In a way, your emotional state is the real language they're reading, as science backs this up. A 2022 study found that cats respond differently when their owners use affectionate cat-directed speech, essentially baby talk for cats, versus when they use normal adult speech. Interestingly, they ignore that same tone when it comes from strangers. That means cats can not only distinguish your voice, but also assign emotional significance to it. They know when you're talking to them. But let's flip this perspective for a moment. What if you learn to interpret their communication as fluently as they interpret yours? Think about the position of their tail. Straight up with a curve at the top means affection. Puffed out means alarm. Low and twitching could signal irritation. Their ears, too, are like radar dishes tuned to emotion. Forward means curiosity. Flattened means fear or aggression. When you combine this with tone and timing, you begin to have an actual dialogue, a cross-species understanding built not on words, but on empathy. Many cat owners describe moments when their cat talks back. Soft chirps, coos, trills that almost sound conversational. These are more than cute noises. They're attempts at bridging the gap. Cats rarely use these sounds with other cats. They reserve them for humans. That's right, your cat developed a private vocal code just for communicating with you. When you respond, even with nonsense syllables or matching tones, you're reinforcing that shared language. And this language can go even deeper. Cats can read your micro-expressions, the tiny involuntary movements on your face that reflect mood. They know when you're upset, when you're joyful, when you're preoccupied. Some cats even adjust their behavior, becoming more affectionate when you're sad or quieter when you're stressed. It's empathy in motion, but expressed in feline form. There's another layer too, scent and sound memory. Cats remember the sound of your footsteps, your breathing, the scent of your hands. When you talk to them, you're not just speaking through sound, you're sending a familiar, comforting signature. This is why cats respond differently to their owners after time apart. When you return and call their name softly, they don't just hear a voice, they recall safety, warmth, and belonging. Now let's address a myth. The idea that cats are indifferent or aloof. The truth is, cats are selective communicators. They conserve energy for interactions that matter. In the wild, unnecessary noise attracts predators. So when your cat meows at you, that's not casual, it's deliberate. It means they've chosen to break silence to reach you. That's trust on display. And when you respond, especially with calm acknowledgement, you validate that trust. Talk to your cat throughout the day. Narrate what you're doing in a calm tone. You might say, "Good morning," when you wake up, or "Want dinner" when preparing food. Cats thrive on predictability. The more consistent your verbal cues are, the more confident and secure they feel in their environment. Over time, you'll notice they begin to anticipate your next move just from the rhythm of your words. Some experts recommend incorporating slow conversation with cats, short verbal exchanges punctuated by silence. You say something softly, wait, and let your cat respond with body language or sound. This mimics natural feline communication patterns. Too much constant talking can overwhelm them, but measured rhythmic dialogue invites them to engage. And yes, music can play a role too. Cats respond best to sounds that mimic their vocal range. Soft, higher-pitched melodies, and gentle rhythmic patterns. Try speaking to your cat with that same musical quality in your tone. It's soothing, familiar, and deeply bonding. There's also something almost spiritual about these moments. When you kneel down, meet your cat's gaze, and speak softly, you're not just training or communicating, you're connecting across worlds. You, a human with complex language and abstraction, are bridging into the intuitive, sensory realm of an animal that has evolved alongside humans for thousands of years. Every blink, purr, and meow is a thread in that shared tapestry. Now imagine what happens when you begin to understand your cat's communication at this level. The misinterpretations fade away. You stop assuming they're ignoring you and start realizing they're observing you. They're watching your tone, your rhythm, your gestures. And when you adjust those just slightly, when you align your energy with theirs, you start to unlock something extraordinary. A dialogue that feels effortless, natural, even transcendent. This connection doesn't just make your cat happier, it can improve your well-being too. Studies have shown that verbal and emotional interactions with pets can reduce stress, lower blood pressure, and release oxytocin, the bonding hormone. Talking to your cat isn't just about being understood, it's about mutual healing. You calm them, and in turn, they calm you. Over time, you'll start to notice patterns. Your cat will respond to specific phrases with consistent actions. They might come running when you use their playtime voice, or purr when you whisper their name. You'll develop an intuitive sense of when they want affection and when they want space. It's not guesswork anymore, it's fluency. Now, let's dig deeper into what really happens when you talk to your cat, not just with your voice, but with your entire emotional energy. Because for cats, communication isn't confined to sound. It's a multi-layered mix of tone, body language, scent, and even rhythm. When you say your cat just knows when you're sad or stressed, feels safest around. It's the feline equivalent of whispering. And then there's touch communication. When your cat rubs against your leg or presses her forehead into you, a behavior called bunting, she's not just showing affection, she's marking you with pheromones. That's her way of saying, "You're family." Responding by gently scratching behind her ears or speaking softly reinforces that bond. You're essentially talking back in her language. Now here's a secret most people overlook. Cats respond not just to sound, but to vibration. Their whiskers, fur, and paws are incredibly sensitive to air currents and micro vibrations. That means your tone physically affects the environment they experience. Calm, rhythmic tones create a stable vibration field, which cats find soothing. Angry or high-frequency tones create erratic vibrations, which feel like static to them. So when you speak with patience and calmness, you're literally crafting a peaceful space your cat can feel. So the next time you find yourself talking to your cat, remember this: it's not silly, it's not one-sided, it's ancient communication refined through companionship. Cats evolved to coexist with humans not because they had to, but because they chose to. And part of that coexistence means learning to understand each other's language, not through words, but through tone, patience, and love. And maybe that's the deeper lesson here. The best way to talk to your cat is to listen, to slow down, to notice, to be present. Because when you speak with genuine calmness and intention, your cat doesn't just hear your voice, they feel your heart. So tonight, when your cat curls up beside you, try saying their name softly, blink slowly, speak like you're sharing a secret. You might just realize they've been talking back all along, just in a language older than words.